Tonight's dish on Chef Austin Presents is an Italian classic called chicken Marsala. Overnight we've taken some chicken breasts that we pounded out until it was evenly thin across. We marinated that in an Italian dressing. Drain that off and we're going to dredge it in some all-purpose flour seasoned with a little salt and pepper. Other ingredients in this dish include, of course, some Marsala wine. I use a little beef stock in mine. We're going to have some unsalted butter, some extra virgin olive oil, button mushrooms, and, of course, serving it with a side of pasta. So we want to get our pan on about medium high or so. And we're going to throw in some unsalted butter. Now, one trick in cooking to keep the butter from burning is to add extra virgin olive oil to it. Two of those together can get nice and hot without burning the fat in the butter. So we're just going to kind of let that melt together in the pan and get hot. It's about 3 tablespoons of butter and a tablespoon and a half of extra virgin olive oil. And over here we're just going to take our chicken pieces, lay them down in the flour. And we're just going to turn those over and coat both sides kind of evenly and let them hang out for a few minutes just to kind of pick up some extra flour. Now we're just going to do these a few pieces at a time so that we're not overcrowding the pan. We want it to be nice and hot so that the chicken stays crispy. Just kind of lay those down in there. So I just have 3 pieces now to start. Looks like that's just about all that's going to fit in my pan anyway, so. After a few minutes, just want to reach in there with a pair of tongs and give them a nice little flip. Just kind of looking for that golden brown color on the opposite side. Give them a nice flip. And let them continue to cook on the other side for an additional 3 to 5 minutes. Yeah, over here my chicken stock has come to a boil. We're going to want to reduce the heat on that. Just kind of let it simmer away. You see all the fat from the chicken and the skin pieces started to surface, so we're just going to kind of nudge that around and let the temperature come down to a simmer and just kind of let it do its own thing for several hours. The only true way to accurately determine whether or not your chicken is done is to use a thin probe thermometer. Chicken is done when it's reached an internal temperature of 165 degrees, so it looks like we have just another minute or so left on this piece of chicken. Just want to check it in the thickest portion toward the center to check for doneness. These are awfully close to being done. Once those hit that 165, we're just going to pick them up, kind of let it drain off, and transfer it over to a wire rack to drain. And then we'll get our second batch of chicken in the pan. Once we get our second batch of chicken done, all to that same pan with all the brown bits and everything, we're going to add our mushrooms. We're going to want to season those immediately with some salt. And I'm going to use some dried rosemary in there, about a teaspoon or so. And then we're going to get the pepper mill down and give it some couple grains of fresh ground black pepper there. Give those a nice toss and let them saute away until they start to wilt, maybe get a little browned up on the bottoms. And what we've done is added about a tablespoon more of butter and about a tablespoon of flour just to create some additional roux. With the flour on the chicken, that already kind of gets in the pan a little bit, but I'm looking for a little bit more thickening power because I'm going to be adding a significant volume of liquid. Give that flour just about a minute or so to cook down, and then we are going to add about a cup of Marsala wine. I just want to give that a nice stir. Let it come up to a boil, and I'm going to let this Marsala wine sit in this pan and simmer down until it's nearly completely evaporated. You start out with about a cup. I might have gotten a cup and a quarter, cup and a half in there, so we're going to let it simmer all the way down to about a third of a cup or so. All that moisture evaporating off the liquid causes the liquid in the pan to reduce, hence the term reduction. Alright, I decided to change my mind a little bit. Instead of letting that reduce all the way down, it's kind of thickened now. It's reduced maybe by a third. Most of the alcohol from the wine is evaporated out of it by now, so we're just going to start adding about another cup or so of beef stock into this mixture. Just kind of even out the flavor, so that the flavor of the Marsala isn't as strong. Marsala can be very sweet, and you kind of want to balance out the sweetness a little bit by adding a little bit of beef stock and get it an extra earthy flavor. Again, we're just letting those liquids, Marsala and beef stock, simmer down and reduce. It's pretty much the consistency that I want. And I just turned my broccoli on to get that steaming. And what you're going to do here at the end, once that liquid reduces, is reach back over here to your chicken pieces. And we're just going to lay those into the sauce here so that they can heat back up and get coated with the lovely sauce. I've already gotten a spoon out and I've tasted the sauce and adjusted it accordingly with additional salt and pepper. Always a good idea throughout the cooking process to taste. People can tell you tablespoons, teaspoons, but you know, everybody's different, everybody measures differently, so the best and most accurate way is to just use your darn taste buds. And once those get in there and kind of start rolling them around, that heat, just going to take them off the heat, and to finish the sauce, we just add about another tablespoon of butter to help thicken the sauce additionally. I've got my noodles in the microwave. We're going to heat those back up. If I didn't have the restrictions of all this hoopla with holding the camcorder and the fact that my pasta cooker is currently in use for the chicken stock, I would certainly boil the pasta fresh and remove it immediately from the pan for service. Nest your pasta in the corner of the plate. Take out 3 pieces of the chicken and tear it up. Pour over with the Marsala mushroom sauce. And if I had fresh parsley, it would be garnished with some bright green fresh parsley. Chicken Marsala by Chef Austin.